I welcome you all to today's session of Python programming. In this session, we are going to study functions in Python. By the end of the session, students will be able to define functions in Python by understanding basic constructs of functions in Python programming. In previous sessions, we have studied different control structures of Python and some advanced data types like lists, tuples, dictionaries in Python. With these facilities in Python, you can have a fair sort of programs and applications built using Python. But one major facility which all of you are missing is functions. Before moving ahead with functions, let us understand why is functions more important when it comes to any programming language. To understand this, let us go through some of the basic built-in functions of Python. Like with Python, there is a function for binary conversion. It is used to convert an integer value to a binary value. The name of the function is bin. So suppose the integer value is x equal to 10 and the binary function bin is called over here. X is passed to that function which will convert this 10 to its binary equivalent and store the result in y. When you will print y in the output, binary equivalent of 10 is displayed. In Python, for every binary numbers, it is prefixed with 0b. So with this, it might have been easy for you to understand that a function called as bin is already defined, which does conversion of integers to binary value. To convert any integer to its binary equivalent, we just have to call that function by using the function name. We need not write the lines of codes to convert that integer to its equivalent binary value. Similarly, see one more function called as sum, which is used to find summation of a list or a set of numbers. Like here in this case, the list contains numbers 1, 2 and 3. You pass the list to the sum function. The sum of these numbers is stored in S variable. When you will print that variable, the answer 7 will be displayed. You can call a function multiple times in your program. Like here you have called it once more to find addition of a list which is a part of a tuple. So it will perform addition of 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 10. So in the output you will get 7 first displayed for this print function and then it will display 17 for the second print value. So sum is a function which is called multiple times in this program. Similarly, there is one more inbuilt function to find length of a given string. So here length of the string in this case, which is Python, is 6, will be displayed on the screen. The inbuilt function for this is len. Whenever you have to call the length of the string, you just have to make a call to that function. You did not write down the lines of codes to calculate the length of the string. Similarly, there is a function BOOL, which stands for bool. It converts a value to its Boolean value representing true or false. So here it is called bool and an empty list is passed to it for the first time As the list is empty, it will represent false. Here the list contains some elements. As the list is not empty, it will represent true. So similarly, there can be functions for any operations you need to perform. So through these examples, you might have understood once a function is written, it can be called multiple times in multiple programs. So there are some advantages of using functions. Let us go through these advantages. First, most major use of functions is that it enables code reuse. As we have seen in the examples, the function for boolean value or the function to find length of the string is written only once and you are calling it multiple times, means it is reused n number of times. This facilitates modularizations in your programs. Also, making use of functions make it easy to debug the program. If there is a bug in a particular function, you need to debug only that particular function, need not debug the whole programs in that case. Also, it reduces the length of the code. Imagine writing the conversion of integer to binary n number of times to find binary equivalents of n integer numbers. It will be very lengthy. It can be replaced by 10 different function calls to that function, which reduces the length of the code. So let us move ahead and understand how functions are used in Python. So to understand this, let us see over here. This is the expected output of the program where some address is displayed on the screen 5 times. To display this, say suppose for 3 times, how many print statements will you require? You will require at least 15 print statements to display this address 3 times on the screen. To avoid this, we can use a function. So to define a function in Python, we must note down that functions should start with a keyword called as def. This def stands for definition, followed by the function name you want to give. Like here in this case is print add, representing print address. The name of the function follows the same rules as that of the names of variables in Python. Then round brackets, opening and closing round brackets. In these round brackets, you can specify any input arguments if required. Then a colon. After the colon, you must start with the lines of codes of that function. You need to remember that function lines of code must follow indentation rules. So in this case, these 5 print statements needs to belong to this function. So it must follow the same indentation. The function block ends when this indentation block ends. So here in this case, a function print add is having 5 print statements. After the definition of function, you can have any other lines of codes of the program. You can also define some other functions of the program, or else you can have a function call. A function call is a statement which will execute the function, means it will execute the lines of codes written inside the function. So The function call appears like this. It starts with the function name and then opening and closing round brackets. If there are any input arguments, you need to specify them in these round brackets. Whenever a function call is encountered, the Python interpreter executes these lines of codes written inside the function. A function can be called multiple times. So in this case, it is called 3 times. We have 3 different function calls. So the print statements will be displayed 3 times. So this address will be displayed 3 times on the output screen. So with this, we learned two basic functionalities or two basic concepts of function, that is function definition and function call. You need to note down that function definition must start with a keyword def, and function call allows the function to be executed anywhere in the program. Function call must have the function name and the set of arguments written in round brackets. With functions, you can also have some documentation strings. Documentation strings is nothing but a facility of commenting or adding details of the function for better readability of the programmer. So here in the function definition, you need to tell what does the function defines or what is the use of the function. It can be written in a comment or inside a documentation string. Documentation string can be written two types, like it can be written by using double quotes start and end, or it can be written by triple quotes like this, 3 double quotes at the beginning or at the end of the string. So it is a normal text string. It is never interpreted. It is only for the understanding purpose. It conveys the programmer what is the use of writing these functions. Documentation strings are not executed. Let us understand function calls in more details. A function can call another function. So in this case, there is a function 1 and a function 2. If you observe function 2 is calling function 1. It is having a call to function 1. This call will execute function 1 and then it will execute the remaining lines of codes from function 2. So now let us see how this program runs. The first line of the program which will execute is this, a call to function 2, which takes the control to this statement here where it calls function 1. So now control is transferred to this print statement. So you will have this line inside function 1 displayed on the screen. This is end of function 1. So it will go back to the place where it was called from. It will go back to its calling. So it will go back to function 2 and execute lines of codes after the function call. So here it will execute inside function 2. So this print statement will be displayed on the screen. So this is very important to understand. A function can call another function anywhere in its body. Whenever a function is called, the control is transferred to the called function. After it is executed completely, control returns back to the place it was called from. Now with the functions, there is one more important concept of return statements. Let us go through this function. So there is a function called as add, which add two numbers 10 plus 20. So variable answer will have value 30 stored. This is a function call. In the function call, addition will be performed and 30 will be saved in answer. After the function call, this print statement is executed. When this print statement is executed, we get an error. Why do we get an error? Because this variable ans answer representing the value 30 is part of the function. It is not part of the other part of the program. Its scope is limited only to the function add. So this cannot be accessed elsewhere in the program. So we get an error, answer is not defined. To avoid such things, we need to have a return statement in functions. These return statements allows you to return a value for a given function. So let us see how it works. So this function add, it will save 30 to answer and here it will return answer. Whenever you are using a return statement, you need to make changes to the function call. The function call must appear like this: variable name equal to add. So add will be executed and whatever value it is returning will be saved in this variable. So here answer will represent 30 and then you can print the answer. It will not give you error. One thing to note down that this answer variable and this answer variable are two different things, are two different variables. This answer variable scope is limited to the function and the answer at the function call, this answer variable has its scope throughout the other part of the program. You can also use different variable in this case. Like here, you are returning answer. In the function call, you use a variable called as result. So result will store the value 30. Whenever you print result, 30 will be displayed. Now if you try printing answer, it will give you error because answer is only part of the add function. So we need to note down this very importantly. So after this, we are very well able to define functions in Python. So let us summarize all the things. So with Python functions, you need to note down that to define a function, we have to use a keyword called as def. After def, you can have a function name followed by its arguments. You need to have a colon at the end of the statement. Then documentation string is optional. After that, you can have lines of codes belonging to the function. Here indentation rules must be followed, otherwise those lines will not be considered as part of the function. At the end, you can have a return statement. The return statement exits the function, and generally it must be the last line to be executed in the function. Any lines of codes written after the return statement will not be executed. So I hope you have understood the basic function syntax and you are able to define a function in Python. We need to note down that for functions in Python, we need not include any header files or any explicit data types of a function. So thank you all for attending this session. If you have any doubts, you can share your questions with me. I will solve and discuss the answers with you. Thank you all.